period.
The O'Reilly factor is on tonight. The judge who allowed Carly Bruce's killer to avoid prison quits, and the factor may be responsible. We'll tell you what's going on. Donald Rum's caution, you're about to enter a no-spin zone. The factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Another rap guy bites the dust. That's the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. In this case, the rap guy is Judge Harry Rapkin, whom you may remember let repeat offender probation violator Joseph Smith avoid prison. A few weeks later, police say Smith killed 11-year-old Carly Bruce. That Florida murder outraged the nation, and the factor began investigating Judge Rapkin. We found out that he had been soft on irresponsible convicts for years. In fact, a newspaper reported that Rapkin allowed criminals who violated probation to avoid going back to prison at least 50 times. Also, a recent Sarasota County Bar Association report rated Rapkin second to last among 28 judges in Sarasota and Manatee County. So, there's no question Judge Rapkin was a big problem for law-abiding citizens and a pal to probation violators. Since he wouldn't talk with us, we visited him.
I called, we spoke to your office, and we said, would you do an interview with us with the O'Reilly factor? And we had no calls back.
O'Reilly factor?
5 phone calls for you, sir.
O'Reilly's a piece of scum. I really wouldn't give any interview with the O'Reilly factor. You could put that on there. He's just everybody knows he's just a whatever. You want to know about the facts of the case?
Yes.
Glad to tell you. I never saw this man. He never appeared in my court, and no probation officer ever talked to me about this man. All I received was a piece of paper that said he's behind 2 payments in his payments for costs of court. He owed $170. The law in Florida is that to sign a warrant like that, payment of court costs, you have to show that the person had the ability to pay. You just don't arrest people for debts.
All right. Now, yesterday, Rapkin called it quits, saying he'll retire, not run for re-election. Hopefully, the factor was a factor in the judge's decision. We've nothing personal against Rapkin. We simply believe judges have to look out for kids like Carly Bruce. This Smith guy who will stand trial for murder had a violent history and was a drug addict. Rapkin knew that. He makes an excuse, but he knew it, and he let him out anyway. Unacceptable. So say goodbye to Judge Harry Rapkin. We'll have reaction to his demise in just a few moments. And that's a memo. Now for the top. Factor follow-up segment tonight, as we told you in the Talking Points memo. 63-year-old Harry Rapkin, the judge who allowed the accused killer of Carly Bruce to avoid prison after a probation violation, is quitting the bench. Joining us now from Tampa is Derek Byrd, a criminal defense attorney in Sarasota, who has often appeared before the judge. So what's your reaction to him quitting? Why did he do it?
I think that he was really pressured a lot by the media. I think that he probably felt that he would not be reelected. All of the negative publicity he's gotten from not only your show, but local media, national media, I think has swayed a lot of voters. A lot of it, I think, is unfair criticism that he's taken, but he must have felt personally that he was not going to be reelected. He didn't want to drag himself and his family through it. And so he's chosen to resign effective, I think, in January.
You know, as far as we know, we're the only national program who investigated this guy, I should say. And you're telling me the local media followed our lead down there and started to pound him?
It seemed to me that way. I followed what was going on, of course, locally, because that's something I live in every day. And it seemed the local media seemed to follow your criticism, not to give you some undue flattery, but that's actually what happened. And the local media did start to kind of get off his back as time went on. But certainly in the beginning, when all the attention was on the Carly Bruce case and Joe Smith, he really took a beating. I mean, he was crucified, and again, I think a lot of it was unfair.
All right, I know. We'll get to that in a minute, but you know,
he did.
Let me tell you, we've investigated this guy pretty thoroughly, and I wouldn't do anything that was unfair. And I don't know this guy like you do. I have to do it from a totally distant position, but his record's abysmal, and we'll get to it in a minute. Now, what about the folks in the community down there? Did they themselves turn? You said he might not be reelected if he ran. Oh, did they turn against him as well?
You know, there's 2 different communities. The legal community, I think, was pretty disappointed that he chose this decision. A lot of people I know called to encourage him not to do this. I personally don't socialize with a lot of attorneys. I socialize with a lot of non-attorneys. A lot of non-attorney friends of mine who followed just the media accounts before they asked my opinion, I think would have said to you that they would not have elected him.
And the regular folks?
you know, regular folks. I mean, most of my friends, I think, are regular folks. People that I know, I was born and raised in Sarasota. A lot of regular folks were swayed by the media assassination of him, and I don't think they would have reelected him.
Now, counsel, the assassination word is just not true. Let me make my case, and then you can rebut it. First of all, your own bar down there ranks him, you know, second to last among 28 judges. So that's their evaluation, not mine. I had nothing to do with that. The second thing is, in addition to the Smith case, where obviously let out a violent drug addict, all right, he did the same thing in the 14-year-old Christy Degg case, who was murdered in Sarasota. And the suspect, Richard Lee Walker, came before Rapkin, all right, this was in 1995, for a parole violation. Same thing that Smith did after testing positive for cocaine and marijuana. Lee, a known convicted sex offender, he let him out again. And Lee is now the primary suspect. They haven't been able to charge him in the Christy Degg murder. So this is like over and over and over. And then the Bradenton paper says he did it 50 times. Now, with all of that information, all of that factual evidence, you still say this is an assassination?
I say this. The man has probably made over 100,000 decisions in the last 10 years, decisions every single day that he has to make. And over the 100,000 decisions, people pick one or two decisions he may have made.
Yeah, two dead girls.
They don't, well, come on now.
Come on, no, wait a minute. Not a lot of judges.
Hold on.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Counselor.
I gave you a chance. Give me a chance. I take with when you say that he let Joseph Smith out of jail. He was given a piece of paper that said Joseph Smith didn't pay court costs. He responded to that piece of paper, give me evidence that he did not have the money to pay these court costs, or that he had the money to pay these court costs. And then the probation department never responded back to him.
Counselor, the probation department denies that, okay, and he knew Joseph Smith's rap sheet. He also knew that he was a drug addict. Okay, and he let him. Of course, he's not going to be able to pay his court costs. He doesn't have any money. He's buying drugs with it.
Billy followed the law on that.
All right, you can say that all day long.
I know, but you can't violate someone's probation for not paying court costs unless they had the ability to pay the court costs.
Everybody that I've talked to in Florida said that judge could have put Smith back in prison, no problem.
If he would have done so.
It was a discretionary decision.
If he would have done so, I promise you, as a criminal defense attorney who deals with these issues every day, Joseph Smith would have gotten out of jail the next day.
I doubt it. And I can promise you this, if he had done so, Carly Bruce should be alive. But
no,
you don't have a lot of judges in this country with two dead girls laying right in front of them because of probation offenders they let out. You don't have that, counsel. It's very unusual.
Bill, they've never arrested Richard Walker for killing Christy Degg.
Come on, you know the situation.
But they don't even have enough probable cause to arrest Richard Walker. And I would tend to, honestly, I would tend to say, looking back on the Richard Walker case, you would have a stronger argument that Rapkin may have done something wrong there. I think the Joseph Smith thing's very overblown. I don't think that he did anything wrong in that.
Well, we appreciate your defense of the judge. He ought to have somebody like you defending him, because I just think he was way on the wrong track, but he's out. We're glad, and we appreciate you coming on, Counselor. Thanks very much.